To understand this more deeply, picture yourself standing at the center of a pond. Every thought you have is like a pebble you drop into the water. Ripples spread outward, touching the edges of the pond, and influencing everything floating on its surface. Quantum entanglement is the scientific confirmation that such ripples are not merely metaphors. They are very real. When you think, when you feel, when you focus on a particular outcome, you are setting ripples in the quantum field. Those ripples then interact with the entangled particles that make up your body, your environment, and the larger universe, weaving your inner world into the outer one. Imagine for a moment that everything you see around you, the chair you're sitting on, the screen in front of you, the air you're breathing is not as solid or as separate as it appears. At the most fundamental level, beneath atoms and molecules, lies the mysterious world of quantum physics, a reality so strange that it defies common sense but is proven by science. And at the very heart of this mystery is a phenomenon called quantum entanglement. Entanglement tells us that two particles, no matter how far apart they are, can be deeply connected in such a way that what happens to one instantly influences the other. This connection is not bound by space, time, or distance. Imagine splitting a pair of particles and sending one to the farthest edge of the universe and keeping the other one here on Earth. If you change the state of the one in your hand, the one billions of miles away reacts instantly, as though they are still one. This is not science fiction. This is the reality that quantum mechanics has revealed to us through repeated experiments. And when you pause to truly consider it, it's almost as if the universe is whispering a hidden truth. Separation is an illusion and everything is deeply connected. Now think about what that means for you and your mind. If particles can influence each other instantaneously, regardless of distance, what does that say about the relationship between your thoughts and the external world? Could it be that your mind is not just a receiver of reality but also a transmitter, constantly shaping the entangled web of existence around you? When you hold a thought, when you focus your energy, when you imagine something vividly, you are not just running silent images inside your brain. You are interacting with the field of reality itself, and because of quantum entanglement, that interaction ripples out far beyond what you can see. Your thoughts, in essence, are not private. They are part of the fabric of reality. This explains why intuition sometimes knows things before they happen, why you can feel the energy in a room before anyone speaks, and why your beliefs seem to attract circumstances that mirror them. The entanglement is not just between particles, it is between minds, between consciousness, between all of existence. You are not isolated in your thoughts. You are plugged into a vast network of intelligence, a cosmic web that is always listening and responding. The reason this feels so powerful is because deep down you've always sensed it. Haven't you noticed that when you dwell on fear, negativity, or scarcity, your life seems to bring you more of the same? And when you shift your focus toward gratitude, abundance, and love, circumstances mysteriously align in your favor. That is not coincidence. That is quantum entanglement in action. Science has shown that entangled particles behave as if they are part of one unified system, even across unimaginable distances. If that's true for particles, then what about human beings, who are made up of those very particles? What about your mind, which is capable of thought, imagination, and intention? You are not separate from the world, you are entangled with it. Every thought you project carries an energetic signature that influences the whole. When you understand this, you begin to realize that your inner state is not just personal, it is universal. Your inner dialogue, your emotions, your expectations, they do not stay locked inside your head. They interact with the quantum field of possibilities, shaping the outcomes that eventually solidify into your reality. Consider for a moment why this idea is so often resisted. People are comfortable believing that the world is purely physical, measurable, and separate from them, because that feels predictable. But quantum mechanics shows us that reality is anything but predictable, and at the smallest levels things don't even exist in definite states until they are observed. Entanglement demonstrates that reality itself is relational, that everything is bound to everything else. When you think of yourself as small, powerless, or insignificant, you are forgetting the truth revealed by science. You are a participant in the dance of the cosmos. Your mind is not merely a bystander, it is a key player. The hidden power of quantum entanglement is this. It reveals the truth that nothing in your life is disconnected from you. The relationships you experience, the opportunities you encounter, the challenges that arise, all are entangled with the state of your consciousness. When you master your inner world, you begin to master your outer one. When you shift your thoughts, your energy, your vibration, the universe responds, because it is not something outside of you. It is connected to you, through invisible threads that stretch across space and time, binding everything into one unified reality. And this is why understanding quantum entanglement matters. It is not just an abstract theory locked away in scientific journals. It is a mirror reflecting back to us how deeply powerful our thoughts really are. It shows us that our imagination is not a passive dreamland, but a creative force that interacts with the quantum field. It explains why visualization works, why meditation transforms, why faith can move mountains. Because when you hold a thought with intention, you entangle yourself with a future reality that already exists in potential, and through focus and energy, you draw that potential into form. Imagine two tuning forks. Strike one, and the other begins to vibrate at the same frequency even though you didn't touch it. That's resonance. Quantum entanglement works in a similar way, except it's not limited to physical sound or distance. Your mind, your heart, your very consciousness emits vibrations that resonate across the fabric of existence. When you think, "I am not enough," you vibrate at a frequency that entangles with lack, drawing experiences that confirm it. When you think, "I am worthy and capable," you vibrate at a frequency that entangles with abundance, opening doors and opportunities you could not have predicted. This isn't magic. It's physics expressed through the lens of consciousness. In the strange and fascinating world of quantum physics, there is one principle that challenges everything we thought we knew about reality, and it is called the observer effect. At its core, the observer effect reveals that reality is not fixed and predetermined, but instead, it shifts depending on how it is observed. In other words, the very act of looking at or focusing on something changes the outcome of what is being observed. This discovery shook the foundations of science because it suggested that consciousness itself plays a role in shaping reality. When scientists studied particles like electrons, they found something astonishing, until they were measured or observed. The particles existed in a state of possibility, spread out like a wave across multiple potential outcomes. But the moment an observer focused on them, they collapsed into one definite state. The particle chose a position, a form, a reality. This means that before observation, reality is fluid, uncertain, and full of potential. But once observed, it becomes something concrete. Now think about the implications of this. Beyond the laboratory, if at the smallest level of existence, the level of particles that make up everything around us, reality only comes into definite form when observed, then the observer is not just a passive witness to the universe. The observer is an active participant in the creation of the universe. That observer is you, your consciousness, your awareness, your thoughts, your focus. These are not idle. They are forces that shape the fabric of existence. You are not simply watching reality unfold. You are helping to unfold it through the lens of your perception and intention. This explains why attention is such a powerful tool. Whatever you give your attention to, you strengthen and bring into being. If you constantly focus on problems, setbacks, and fears, your observation collapses reality in that direction, and those outcomes become more solid in your life. If instead you focus on solutions, possibilities, and visions of what you desire, you collapse reality in that direction, giving strength to outcomes that align with your goals. You are the observer in the experiment of your own life, and your thoughts are the measurements that transform the uncertain into the real. One of the most fascinating aspects of the observer effect is that it shows us the universe is not a rigid machine operating on predetermined tracks. Instead, it is alive, dynamic, and responsive, and it responds to consciousness. This means that your mind is not just interpreting reality, it is shaping reality. That is why visualization and intention setting are so powerful. When you visualize a goal vividly, your mind is already observing that future reality, collapsing it from a wave of potential into something with form and direction. You begin to entangle with that version of reality, and through the laws of resonance and focus you draw yourself closer to it. Think of your mind like a projector in a theater. The film doesn't come alive until the light shines through it. Similarly, the field of infinite possibilities remains in wave-like uncertainty until your mind shines its attention on it. That focus, that observation brings the potential into form, just as the light brings the images of a film to life on the screen. And just like a projector can change the entire movie simply by switching reels, your mind can change your life simply by shifting what it chooses to observe. The observer effect is not limited to physics labs. It is woven into the very way reality unfolds for you each day. This is why people often experience patterns in their lives. If someone constantly thinks, "Nothing ever works out for me," that thought becomes an observation repeated over and over again. Each time it is reinforced, the wave of possibility collapses into realities that reflect that belief. On the other hand, when someone chooses to think, "Opportunities are always showing up for me," and they truly direct their awareness toward this belief, the same observer effect begins to collapse reality into outcomes where opportunities indeed appear. The world doesn't change because of random luck. It changes because your focus alters the way the field of possibilities solidifies around you. Some people dismiss this idea as mere positive thinking, but it is much deeper than that. Positive thinking is just scratching the surface. The observer effect tells us that the universe itself does not finalize outcomes until there is focus. This is why two people can live in the same circumstances yet experience entirely different lives. One may see only obstacles, and the universe seems to confirm it. The other sees opportunities, and the universe provides them. Both are correct, because both are collapsing reality according to the focus of their own observation. This principle is why practices like meditation are so transformative. Meditation trains you to control the focus of your mind, to direct your observation consciously instead of allowing it to be hijacked by worry, distraction, or fear. In meditation, you practice observing your inner world without judgment, and in doing so, you strengthen your ability to consciously observe the outer world with clarity and intention. Over time, this changes the way reality unfolds for you, because your observation is no longer scattered or chaotic. It is directed, powerful, and precise. Imagine standing at a crossroads with countless paths before you. Each path represents a possible future, a wave of potential, waiting to collapse into reality. The direction you step into is determined by where you place your awareness. If you keep staring at the path of fear, lack, and limitation, that is the road that will become solid beneath your feet. But if you choose to look toward abundance, courage, and possibility, that is the road that will appear. You may think the path already exists, but in truth, the act of choosing where to look is what makes the path real. The observer effect also explains why gratitude is such a magnetic force. When you observe what you already have with appreciation, you collapse more realities that align with abundance. Gratitude is not just a nice feeling. It is an act of conscious observation that shapes what becomes real for you. The same applies to love, joy, and faith. When you place your awareness on these frequencies, you bring them out of the quantum potential and into the physical experience of your life. Understanding this changes the way you approach life. It means you are never a victim of circumstances because circumstances are not fixed. They are possibilities awaiting your focus. It means you have the ability to shift your reality simply by shifting your observation. It means that the most powerful tool you will ever hold is not outside of you but within you. Your consciousness, your awareness, your ability to focus. And when you begin to use that tool with intention, you unlock the truth of the observer effect. You are not just a passenger in this universe, you are a co-creator of it. Scientists may describe this in terms of probability waves and measurement, but you can experience it directly in your own life. Notice how your day changes when you wake up dreading what's ahead, compared to when you wake up with excitement. Notice how people respond differently when you expect hostility compared to when you expect kindness. These are not random events. They are reflections of the observer effect at play in your daily reality. You are the one holding the measuring device, and the device is your mind. This is why two people can live in the same environment, yet experience completely different realities. One person may see nothing but hardship, while the other thrives. The difference is not the external world, but the frequency each one carries within. Their thoughts, emotions, and beliefs act like magnets, pulling in experiences that harmonize with their vibration. The quantum field is a mirror, always reflecting back the energy you send into it. When you feel powerless or stuck, it is not because the universe has turned against you, but because you have unconsciously tuned yourself to a frequency that reinforces those experiences. The moment you shift your vibration, you begin to shift your reality. Everything in existence is energy vibrating at different frequencies, from the chair you sit on, to the music you hear, to the thoughts running through your mind. All of it is made of vibrations resonating in the quantum field. Modern physics has confirmed that the universe is not solid in the way we once believed. Beneath the surface of matter lies a field of energy, and within that field, everything vibrates. Frequencies are like the language of the universe, the code through which creation expresses itself. When you understand this truth, you begin to realize that your thoughts, your emotions, and your intentions are not abstract or invisible things. They are energetic vibrations that broadcast into the field around you and shape what you experience in your reality. Think of a radio station. You cannot see the waves carrying music through the air, but when you tune your radio to the right frequency, the signal comes alive and you hear the sound clearly. Your mind works in a similar way. The thoughts you focus on and the emotions you generate tune your consciousness to a specific frequency. That frequency resonates with the field of infinite possibilities, and just like a radio, you begin to pick up and attract experiences that match your internal vibration. If your mind is tuned to fear, lack, or anger, you will draw more experiences that confirm those states. If your mind is tuned to gratitude, love, and abundance, the universe responds by aligning you with events, people, and opportunities that carry the same vibration. Think of your body as an antenna. Just as an antenna sends and receives signals, your body and mind send signals into the field and receive experiences that align with them. Every time you feel joy, peace, or excitement, you are transmitting a high-frequency signal into the universe. Every time you dwell in fear, shame, or anger, you are transmitting a low-frequency signal. The law of resonance ensures that the signal you send determines the signal you receive. This is why personal energy is everything. When you take charge of your inner state, you take charge of the frequency you are broadcasting, and when you change the frequency, you change the station of your life. This is why it is so important to become aware of the frequency of your dominant thoughts. Many people go through life unaware of the constant stream of negativity running through their minds, not realizing that each of those thoughts carries a vibration that shapes their external reality. Worry, doubt, and resentment tune you to frequencies that draw more circumstances to match them. But when you deliberately shift your focus to gratitude, love, and possibility, you rise into higher frequencies that attract better outcomes. The universe does not respond to what you wish for. It responds to the frequency you embody. Consider music as another example. When you strike a note on a guitar, the strings of another guitar nearby tuned to the same note will begin to vibrate in harmony. This is resonance. The universe operates on resonance. Whatever frequency you emit through your thoughts and emotions activates matching vibrations in the quantum field, and those vibrations return to you as lived experiences. This is not mystical thinking. It is the science of vibration applied to consciousness. You are not separate from the symphony of the cosmos. You are one of its instruments, and the melody you play through your focus becomes the music that life plays back to you. This is why practices like affirmations, visualization, and meditation are powerful tools. They are not about tricking your mind with false positivity. They are about shifting your frequency so that you resonate with the reality you want to experience. When you visualize yourself living your dream, you are tuning into the frequency of that outcome. When you affirm your worth, you are vibrating at the frequency of confidence and abundance. When you meditate and quiet your thoughts, You clear away the noise of low-frequency signals and align yourself with the natural harmony of the universe. These practices are ways of deliberately tuning your antenna to receive the reality you desire. Think back to times in your life when you felt unstoppable, when you were excited about a dream, when you were grateful for what you had, when you were filled with love. In those moments, opportunities seemed to appear effortlessly. You met the right people at the right time. Things seemed to align in ways that felt almost magical. That was not coincidence. That was the result of your vibration harmonizing with higher possibilities in the quantum field. Now think about times when you felt defeated, resentful, or hopeless. During those moments, life seemed heavy, opportunities slipped away, and challenges piled up. Again, that was not coincidence. It was resonance. Your frequency was entangled with realities that matched your inner state. Another way to understand this is through the concept of coherence. When your mind and heart are in alignment, when your thoughts and emotions vibrate in harmony, you enter a state of coherence that magnifies your frequency. This is why acting with clarity of intention and emotional conviction is so much more powerful than simply wishing for something. Wishing without belief is incoherence. Intention backed by emotion is coherence, and coherence sends a strong, clear signal into the quantum field. That signal resonates powerfully, drawing experiences that align with it more quickly and more clearly. The universe is not punishing or rewarding you. It is simply responding to the frequency you emit. If you constantly say, "I don't want to struggle," your focus is still on struggle, and that vibration resonates. If you shift to saying, "I welcome abundance and ease," your focus and vibration are on abundance, and that resonance begins to manifest. This is why clarity matters. The universe responds to vibration, not words. It responds to the energy behind your thoughts, not the surface meaning of your language. Every thought carries a vibration. Every emotion amplifies it, and every belief sustains it. Together they form the energetic signature you broadcast into the world. That signature determines the experiences, people, and opportunities that show up in your life. And because vibration can be shifted at any moment, you are never trapped in your current reality. You always have the power to tune yourself to a new frequency. It begins with awareness of what you are broadcasting right now. Are you tuned to fear or to faith, to scarcity or to abundance, to resentment or to gratitude? The answer reveals the frequency of your life. When you start seeing your reality as a reflection of your vibration, you begin to take ownership of your inner world in a new way. Instead of blaming circumstances, you ask yourself, what frequency am I tuned to? Instead of waiting for life to change before you feel better, you change your vibration first, knowing that life will adjust in response. This is how you step into your power as a conscious creator. You are no longer a passive observer of reality but an active participant shaping it through the frequencies you emit. The entire universe is humming with energy, from the galaxies spinning in space to the cells in your body. And at the center of it all, you are a transmitter and receiver of vibration. When you choose your frequency deliberately, when you raise your vibration through gratitude, love, focus, and intention, you begin to unlock the deeper truth. Reality itself is a song, and you have always been one of its singers. From the moment you were born, your mind began absorbing information from the world around you. Every word you heard, every action you witnessed, every belief repeated to you by parents, teachers, or society left an imprint. These imprints became the foundation of your subconscious programming, shaping the way you see yourself and the world. Many of these beliefs were not chosen by you. They were given to you. They told you what was possible, what was impossible, what you were worthy of, and what you were not. And without realizing it, you began to live according to those hidden instructions. The problem is that much of this programming is limiting. It keeps you entangled with realities that reflect fear, scarcity, and self-doubt, even though a greater potential is available to you. Think of your subconscious mind as the operating system of a computer. Most of the time, you are not aware of it running, but it dictates the behavior of every program you use. If the operating system has errors, the programs will malfunction no matter how hard you try to fix them on the surface. In the same way, If your subconscious beliefs are filled with doubts like I am not good enough, or success is not for people like me, then no matter how much effort you put into chasing success, you will sabotage yourself. This is because your subconscious programming is entangled with outcomes that confirm those beliefs. Breaking free also requires understanding that your subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts whatever is repeated with enough emotion and consistency. This is both the reason you are stuck and the key to your freedom. The limiting beliefs you carry were programmed through repetition, and they can be reprogrammed in the same way. When you begin to affirm new truths, visualize new realities, and feel the emotions of those realities as if they already exist, your subconscious slowly rewrites itself. And as it rewrites, your vibration changes. You disentangle from old realities of fear and scarcity, and become entangled with new realities of possibility and abundance. To break free from this, you must begin by becoming aware of the patterns that hold you. Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you cannot see. Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself every day. Do you constantly say things like I can't, I'll never, or I don't deserve it? Each of those statements is a reflection of a deeper belief living in your subconscious. Notice how those beliefs make you feel, and how they shape the choices you make. When you start observing your limiting beliefs, you weaken their power. What once controlled you from the shadows is now exposed to the light of awareness. One of the most powerful truths revealed by quantum physics is that your mind does not just observe reality, it participates in creating it. But when your subconscious is filled with limiting beliefs, your participation is not conscious. Instead, you keep collapsing possibilities that mirror the old programming. This is why so many people find themselves stuck in repeating cycles. They want abundance but keep experiencing lack. They want love but keep attracting rejection. They want confidence but keep living in fear. The issue is not that life is unfair. The issue is that their subconscious programming is tuned to the wrong frequency, and because of quantum entanglement, that frequency keeps drawing them back into the same reality. Think of a person who grew up being told they were not smart enough to achieve great things. That belief, absorbed in childhood, becomes a filter through which they see every experience. When they face challenges, they interpret them as proof of their inadequacy. When they succeed, they downplay it, or call it luck. Their subconscious belief creates a self-fulfilling cycle. But if that same person begins to challenge the belief, to say, I am capable, I am intelligent, I am growing, and if they repeat it with conviction while imagining themselves succeeding, something remarkable happens. Their subconscious begins to shift. Their choices begin to reflect confidence instead of doubt. They start collapsing different quantum possibilities, ones that align with the belief of being capable. Over time, their outer world begins to reflect their inner transformation. The subconscious mind is like soil, and your beliefs are the seeds planted within it. Whatever you plant and nurture will grow. If you have planted seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, you will harvest experiences that match. But if you deliberately plant seeds of empowerment, love, and abundance, those too will grow. The soil does not judge the seed. It simply gives life to whatever is planted. In the same way, the subconscious does not judge whether a belief is helpful or harmful. It simply accepts it and creates accordingly. This is why being intentional about your inner dialogue is so vital. Another important truth is that limiting beliefs are often inherited. They are passed down through generations, entangled with the consciousness of families and cultures. If your parents struggled with money, you may have inherited beliefs about scarcity. If they struggled with relationships, you may carry hidden doubts about love. These beliefs are not your fault, but they are now your responsibility. You can choose to break the cycle by rewriting the program within yourself. When you do, you not only free your own life, you also free future generations who will inherit your new frequency instead of the old one. Breaking free from limiting beliefs is not just about personal growth. It is about reclaiming your role as the creator of your reality. Every belief you hold acts like a tuning fork, resonating with matching possibilities in the quantum field. Limiting beliefs keep you locked into cycles of lack, fear, and struggle. Empowering beliefs, open the door to abundance, joy, and expansion. The key is to remember that beliefs are not truths. They are choices. And at any moment, you have the power to choose again. One of the most powerful tools for breaking free is emotional energy. Your subconscious is not rewritten by dry, empty words but by words charged with emotion. When you affirm something with feeling, your subconscious accepts it more readily. When you visualize a new reality and truly feel the joy, freedom, and excitement of it, your subconscious begins to believe it. That belief then shifts your vibration, and through resonance and entanglement, the quantum field begins to bring you opportunities that match your new inner state. Consider someone who believes they are unworthy of love. That belief entangles them with partners who reflect rejection, neglect, or abuse. To break free, they must first recognize the belief and understand it is not an absolute truth but a programmed perception. Then they must begin to affirm a new truth. I am worthy of love. I attract relationships that honor and respect me. At first, the old programming may resist, but with repetition, emotion, and consistent focus, the subconscious begins to shift. The person starts to make different choices, to set healthier boundaries, to recognize opportunities for real love. As their inner world changes, the outer world reflects it. They disentangle from the reality of rejection and become entangled with the reality of genuine connection. Your subconscious is always listening. Every thought, every word, every image you repeat is programming it. If you want to change your life, start by changing the language you use with yourself. Speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would give a loved one. Replace I can't with I can learn. Replace I'm not enough with I am more than enough. Replace I'll never succeed with success is inevitable when I align with my highest self. These new statements may feel unnatural at first, but with repetition they become the new program. And once the program changes, the reality you collapse changes with it. Intention is the steering wheel of your life. Every thought you hold with clarity, every vision you create with focus, every desire you fuel with emotion, carries an energetic command into the quantum field. The universe is not chaotic. It is intelligent, responsive, and attuned to the signals you send. When you align your intentions with the laws of quantum energy, you begin to shape reality in a deliberate way. Most people drift through life with scattered thoughts and unclear desires, and so their reality reflects that confusion. They want one thing in the morning, something different by the afternoon, and by nightfall, they are consumed by worry about what might go wrong. This scattered energy sends mixed signals into the field, and the universe simply mirrors it back in the form of uncertainty and struggle. But when you decide clearly what you want, when you hold that vision firmly and consistently, you collapse the waves of possibility into a definite outcome. That is the power of intention. Your beliefs are the lens through which you observe the world, and because of the observer effect, that observation shapes reality. Limiting beliefs distort the lens, causing you to collapse realities that confirm limitation. But when you clean the lens by rewriting those beliefs, you open yourself to realities that confirm your power. The universe has never withheld abundance, love, or success from you. It has only been responding to the frequency of your beliefs. When you shift the belief, you shift the frequency, and when you shift the frequency, you shift the reality. Think of the quantum field as a sea of infinite potential. Every possible version of your life already exists in wave form, waiting to be observed, waiting to be chosen. Intention is the act of pointing at one of those possibilities and saying, "That is the one I choose." It is not enough to simply wish or hope. Wishing carries no conviction. Intention, however, carries authority. It is backed by focus, belief, and energy. When you intend something, you are not passively waiting for it to happen. You are actively calling it into existence by aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with it. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. The sunlight is always there, but when you focus it through the lens, it becomes powerful enough to ignite a flame. Your intention works the same way. The energy of the universe is always available, but when you focus it through a clear, coherent intention, it becomes powerful enough to manifest reality. Scattered light warms the skin, but focused light creates fire. Scattered thoughts create confusion, but focused intention creates transformation. Alignment is the key. You cannot intend for abundance while carrying the vibration of lack. You cannot intend for love while dwelling in fear of rejection. You cannot intend for health while constantly affirming illness in your thoughts. The universe responds not to your words but to the frequency behind them. If your thoughts and emotions are out of harmony with your stated intentions, your signal is incoherent, and the field cannot mirror it back to you clearly. But when your mind and heart are in alignment, when your thoughts match your emotions, you create coherence, and coherence is the language the quantum field responds to with precision. One of the most misunderstood ideas is that intention alone is enough. Intention is the starting point, but it must be supported by clarity, belief, and consistent focus. You cannot intend something once, and then immediately fall back into doubt. That is like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it has grown. The seed cannot sprout because it has no stability. Intention requires consistency. You must plant the seed, water it daily with belief and emotion, and allow the universe to unfold it in its own timing. Patience is a form of alignment, because it shows trust in the process. Visualization is a powerful tool for aligning intention with quantum law. When you imagine yourself already living your desired reality, your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts the vision as truth, and in doing so it shifts your vibration to match that reality. This shift is what entangles you with the possibility you are visualizing. Over time, the universe responds by aligning external circumstances to mirror your internal state. This is why athletes visualize their victories, why leaders imagine their success, and why creators dream their ideas into being before they ever take form. Visualization is not fantasy, it is preparation. It is tuning your frequency to the reality you intend to experience. Emotion is another critical piece. Intention without emotion is weak. Emotion is the fuel that powers the signal you send into the quantum field. If you intend for abundance but feel fear and doubt, the signal is distorted. But if you intend for abundance and feel the joy and gratitude of already having it, the signal is clear and strong. The universe responds to emotion because emotion is energy in motion. It amplifies your intention and makes it magnetic. This is why gratitude is such a powerful amplifier. When you feel grateful for what you already have, you raise your vibration, and that elevated state empowers your intentions. You begin to attract more experiences that match the frequency of gratitude. Faith is another dimension of intention. Faith is not blind hope. It is the certainty that what you have intended already exists in the quantum field and is on its way into form. Faith keeps you steady when results are not immediate. It prevents you from sabotaging your intention with doubt. Faith is trust in the unseen, the willingness to believe in the potential long enough for it to materialize. Without faith, intention crumbles under pressure. With faith, intention becomes unstoppable. Consider the difference between a person who says, "I want success," but constantly doubts themselves, procrastinates, and focuses on failure, and a person who says, "I intend to succeed," and backs it with clear vision, belief, emotion, and consistent action. The first person sends a weak, scattered signal, and the universe mirrors back struggle. The second person sends a strong, coherent signal, and the universe mirrors back opportunities, synchronicities, and breakthroughs. Both live in the same world, but their experiences differ because of the way they align their intentions with quantum law. Action is also part of alignment. Intention does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. Intention sets the direction, but action moves you along the path. When your actions align with your intentions, you reinforce the signal you are sending. If you intend for health, you support that intention by taking care of your body. If you intend for abundance, you support that intention by seeking opportunities, learning, and growing. Action is not about forcing outcomes but about demonstrating faith in your intention. It tells the universe, "I am ready, I am committed." And when intention and action work together, they create momentum. When you live without intention, Life feels random and chaotic. You drift from one circumstance to another, reacting instead of creating. But when you live with intention, you become the architect of your reality. You stop scattering your energy on distractions and begin channeling it toward what truly matters. Your days take on clarity and direction. Your actions become purposeful. Your thoughts become aligned with your goals. And the universe, through the laws of entanglement and resonance, begins to mirror your coherence. Intention is the bridge between thought and reality. It is the force that transforms the invisible into the visible, the potential into the actual. When you align intention with quantum law, you are no longer wishing for life to happen a certain way, you are commanding it. Not through force or control, but through alignment, coherence and resonance. The field is infinite, the possibilities are endless, and the choice is always yours. The only question is, what will you intend, and will you align fully with it until it becomes your reality? This is why so many spiritual traditions emphasize prayer, meditation, and mindfulness. These practices are ways of aligning intention with higher consciousness. Prayer is not just asking, it is setting a focused intention with faith. Meditation is not just relaxation, it is training the mind to hold coherent focus. Mindfulness is not just awareness, it is the practice of directing observation deliberately. All of these are ways of aligning the inner world so that the outer world responds in harmony. Living consciously in this way requires a discipline of mind. It begins with awareness, catching the moments when your thoughts drift into fear, doubt, or limitation, and deliberately redirecting them toward what you want to create. This is not about ignoring reality, but about reshaping it. For instance, when faced with financial stress, the default thought is scarcity and anxiety. But when you hold the vibration of abundance and opportunity, you align yourself with solutions and possibilities that would remain invisible otherwise. The quantum field does not respond to desperation, it responds to clarity and frequency. Imagine living each day not as a passive passenger on the ride of life, but as the deliberate driver of your own destiny. The truth is, the universe is not random chaos, nor is your life a series of accidents strung together. Everything around you is energy, vibrating, responding, and shaping itself based on the signals you broadcast. Quantum entanglement shows us that the world is woven together in invisible threads, where one small change in one place ripples through the whole system. Your thoughts are not isolated. They are pulses of energy, signals that interact with the field, rearranging reality to reflect back what you consistently project. Living as the architect of your reality means fully embodying the truth that your mind is the blueprint, and your daily focus is the construction plan. Most people drift unconsciously, repeating old thoughts, patterns, and emotions that were handed to them by family, culture, or circumstance. They wake up in the morning and immediately recall yesterday's problems, reactivating the same worries, the same frustrations, and therefore generating the same future. The brain, being an extraordinary prediction machine, anticipates what comes next based on what it already knows. And so life becomes a loop. But when you step into awareness of quantum law, you realize you are not condemned to repeat old patterns. The moment you choose a new thought and sustain it with attention, you break the cycle and collapse a different possibility into existence. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process because the brain does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. When you visualize, you are impressing your desires into the quantum field, instructing it to arrange circumstances accordingly. Athletes have used this for decades, rehearsing their performance in the mind until the body performs it effortlessly. You can do the same with any area of life, relationships, health, purpose. By rehearsing the desired reality in thought and emotion, you begin to entangle with it, drawing it into your lived experience. The environment you create around yourself also matters. Energy is contagious, and you are constantly being influenced by the frequencies of the people, spaces, and information you consume. Surround yourself with negativity, and you will unconsciously absorb it. Surround yourself with inspiration, creativity, and uplifting connections, and your energy field strengthens. The architect of reality is intentional about their environment, curating it to support the vision they are building. This includes physical spaces, digital inputs, and even inner dialogue. Equally important is emotional alignment. Thoughts are the blueprint, but emotions are the fuel. You cannot think abundance while feeling lack, nor think love while vibrating in resentment. The universe reads your emotional state as your true frequency. This is why gratitude is so transformative. It instantly shifts your emotional vibration into alignment with abundance, magnetizing more reasons to be grateful. A simple daily practice of gratitude acts like tuning an instrument, ensuring your frequency is harmonious with what you desire to attract. Another key practice is detachment from the outcome. Paradoxically, the more you cling, the more resistance you generate. Quantum law works best when you set an intention, align your energy, and then release it with trust. Think of planting a seed. You do not dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You nurture it, trust the soil, and allow the process to unfold. The same principle applies to manifestation. The act of trusting keeps your vibration high and signals to the universe that you already believe it is done, which accelerates its arrival. Living as the architect of your reality also means stepping into responsibility. It is easy to blame others, circumstances, or fate for what happens in life, but as long as you do, you hand away your power. When you take radical responsibility, you stop asking why something happened to you, and instead ask how it is reflecting your own energy and what you can shift within yourself. This is not about blame, it is about empowerment. If you created it, you can change it. If your energy drew it in, you can broadcast something new. Responsibility is the cornerstone of freedom because it puts the power back in your hands. Discipline is another pillar. Architects do not draw blueprints and then abandon them after a day. They refine, adjust, and stay committed until the structure is built. In the same way, your thoughts and emotions require daily consistency. Meditation, affirmations, journaling, visualization, these are the tools to keep your inner frequency aligned. It is not enough to do it once and expect permanent change. Reality is a living structure that you are constantly shaping. The question is not whether you are creating, but whether you are creating consciously or unconsciously. As you embody this role more deeply, you begin to notice synchronicities. These are not coincidences, but confirmations that your vibration is working. A person you needed to meet appears, an opportunity arises unexpectedly, a challenge resolves itself without force. These moments are signals that you are in flow with the field, that your energy is in harmony with the unfolding of reality. The more you notice them, the more they multiply, reinforcing your belief and strengthening your role as the architect. When you rise each morning and choose your vibration intentionally, when you walk through your day conscious of the energy you emit, when you visualize the life you are creating and embody the emotions of it as if it is already here, you activate the quantum law that shapes worlds. The universe is not against you. It is waiting for you to step into your role. You are not here to live by default. You are here to design with purpose. And every thought you choose, every emotion you nurture, every intention you hold is another brick laid in the architecture of your reality. Ultimately, living as the architect of your reality is about mastery of self. It is about understanding that the external world is a mirror of the internal world, and the only true control you have is over your thoughts, emotions, and focus. When you master these, the external has no choice but to shift. Life ceases to feel random or hostile, and begins to feel responsive and cooperative. You stop chasing outcomes, and start aligning with them. You stop fighting reality, and start designing it.